Thank you all for listening to me, and I'll get started. So this is Nyla Technology Solutions, and some quick stats up front. We are a small business, woman-owned, HubZone certified. We are currently at about 10 full-time employees and a couple of part-time overhead staff members. We have an annual revenue of about $2.5 million. We really specialize in software systems development, so our NASIS codes correspond to that. Our real focus, our primary focus, is in the intelligence community, particularly MPO. We are focused on getting into DISA, so we're on several DISA contracts as well. And we are on making some headway into supporting the Veterans Affairs, which is sort of a personal pet of mine that I really want to help improve a lot of the veteran services and IT services for them. We have one prime contract and we're a subcontractor on 10 contracts, and we are formalizing partnerships right now with Hewlett-Packard to be a hardware reseller, and we are also we're completing the process to be an Amazon Web Services partner as well. All right, there's a lot of small businesses out there that do software systems development for MPO. What is the distinguisher? Why would you want us on your team? Why should anyone come up and talk to us afterwards? We have a reputation for truly being a leader in product-driven, agile development in the cloud-based architecture. So in the former NSA 21 organization, we were heavily throughout T1 and really known well throughout T1. We have participated in a lot of innovation practices there. So one of the NSA 21 tenets was innovation. What does that really mean? We actually had, I think we were the only contractor to participate in the I-Core process that's out of IAD. We have strong ties into innovation, but really are focused on how do you take innovation and these great ideas and actually move them into operations and get them released to capabilities. We are also really doing soup to nuts in software development. A lot of people are saying DevOps in CMS, the organization we're focused on right now. We're focused on service reliability engineering. So it's kind of a different take on what does DevOps mean. But a lot of it is that ruthless automation to really get capabilities to market faster and to increase availability of the systems. One of the other things that we're really well known for, besides being liked, I guess, by the technical leaders, is that we truly are known for developing systems that satisfy end user needs. So I'm going to make a distinction here between there's customers, and in our space there's the people who are paying you, and there might even be those people you're paying that you are getting requirements from. But those people who are giving you requirements might not actually ever be the end user of the system. Maybe they were a while ago, but they're not the actual end user of the system. And so we take that and focus our projects and our epics and our stories to really ensure that what we're developing satisfies those mission needs that those end users need, not the person paying for it. Because if you satisfy the end user, you're going to really make the customer happy. So similarly tied to that, we are known for our strategic and innovative technical leadership. Our company is made up right now of only about 20% systems engineers and 80% developers or software engineers, but we're really brought in to say, hey, can you we're contractors, so we have to do what we're told, but can you really provide us some thoughts about where we should go and where we should be headed? Inside of the former T1 directorate, we were really known for instrumentation, metrics and monitoring, sort of data analysis. One of our main specialties is really in monitoring the collection systems. This means infrastructure monitoring, the application monitoring, and really mission monitoring. So collecting that data, processing that data, correlating the data, so that you're not only alerting correctly that people are taking corrective actions on the systems to ensure that mission continues, but that we're getting ahead of it. So we have worked on a lot of automated alerting as well. So how do you, today all of our alerting and our reactions to it tends to be someone sitting there, tier 1 or tier 2 support, and you're really looking and waiting for that red to turn red, stay red, and then someone takes an action. But ideally that's going to be moved to automation. And then really advancing and getting into predictive analytics so that you are monitoring and modifying your system, that you are truly taking advantage of a cloud-based architecture to move into and make services available as your demand increases. And we, as a small company, have a strong reputation for knowing how to do that. That's also tied into operational systems analysis, so we've got that tier 3, tier 4 support. The same issue keeps happening over and over again. Break fixed it. How do we really get into that? And sort of bleeding into DevOps, that's kind of a tie right now. And finally, as tied to metrics and monitoring, there's a lot of data that comes back. A lot of us who are dealing in these technical architectures, we're really looking for the needle in the haystack, and the same goes for instrumentation of any system. And so it's not about just bringing data back or producing some dashboard that's got some number. I mean, that's great, we're all getting paid for that. But the real goal is that that dashboard provides real value. And so one of the things we're taking a strong role in right now is calculating the availability of a service. So not a system availability, but what if you're going to Google, for example, every time you go to Google, that thing is up, right? You're not dealing with slowness, it is up and available for you. Latency, and then we're also helping do customer satisfaction. On a lot of our systems, you have captive users, right? And that you have a set number of users, but we also have a lot of unhappy users who are unhappy, and there's been a lot of movement, and people are keeping their own dev shops. I mean, that was part of the NSA 21 movement, was to take those dev shops out because they were creating their own shops because they were dissatisfied with the products that they were getting. So can we move to create products that people have to use but that they like using? I think I talked a little bit about DevOps, but that movement to ruthless automation of doing automated testing, automated integration, automated deployment. Another thing we don't often do that we should be doing is automated system configuration. We still have Excel files versus what the system actually exists. And Nyla is also, I'm using the breath. Nyla has a very strong reputation for customer outreach. So tied to customer experience and measuring satisfaction, we have done a lot and been a leader in how do you do engagement with the customer? How do you talk to them? How do you get that feedback from them? How do you design a system? Because a lot of times, sometimes the system is there, but that usability isn't there. And what's that final piece to really take the brilliant technology or the great idea and to actually get it used, because that's the goal. The goal is not to do technology or to do a cloud-based architecture. It is to get people to help support the mission. All right, so I made up a term. Next slide. All right, now you're on the same slide. I made up this term, but my customer loved it. So we're moving from the term product-driven development to customer-driven development. And so we're moving from the government being successful based upon the number of people working for them to outcomes. And part of these outcomes are tied to the end user being satisfied. So it's less about some methodology or some perfect implementation of Scrum or having some Scrum Master and your backlog and your perfect outcomes. It's less about using some certain technology in a very specific way. The goal of the development is ruthlessly focusing on your outcome, and that is delivering a high-quality capability to the end user that is used, right? So it doesn't matter that you're even delivering capability at a fast pace. That capability has to be available and being used. Another thing on customer-driven development that you're going to see is that customer engagement is very high. A lot of times today, if you talk to development teams, most of the developers, including the lead developer, cannot easily characterize who their end users are. They cannot easily characterize what their operational environment is, what their operational loads are. So part of that is really flipping that if we're doing customer-driven development well, we should be able to go to our dev teams and they truly understand who the end user is and what they're really looking for. This means your epics, if you're doing agile-driven development, which almost everybody is written from the customer point of view. So it's not an upgrade from 9.0 to 9.2. We're moving from that. Why are you upgrading to 9.0 to 9.2? And upgrades can go backwards and make things actually worse. So it's flipping everybody's verbiage to that constant focus from the end user perspective. We're also doing user observation sessions, so that's one of the things you may have heard about, but we literally make the entire development team come and sit and watch the end users, and the development team is not allowed to say anything. They're put on mute the whole time, and they have to watch for about an hour to 2 hours end users use their product, and it's pretty illuminating. And then finally, the entire team should be able to easily characterize who their users are, how they're using it, and be able to tell those stories. And one of the major things that we're doing is we're measuring customer satisfaction. So I like to joke that if we're doing a good job, we should see less people complaining about our products on Parting Thoughts. So on Parting Thoughts, I'll just throw timekeeping under the bus. You know, we're still doing paper timekeeping and we're moving to it. But if we're doing a good job, the things should just be there and work. We shouldn't be thinking about it. There shouldn't be complaints about it. At minimum, I'm not even asking for rave reviews on our products. They should just work without a thought. And so we're trying to really measure that customer satisfaction, since the number of users isn't necessarily an effective measure, and the number of times they use it is not an effective measure. These people tend to be captive users. They have to use what you produce for them, but can you make them not hate it? Can you get them to just not even complain about it, and then can you get to high satisfaction? And tied to that is latency and availability. So one of the major things is we are always focused on developing a new capability, but a lot of times people are dissatisfied because the system doesn't work. It's slow. It's not there. When you go to use training at the end of the year, it doesn't scale, and it's training slow or down, and you're getting emails about it. It should just automatically know and scale. So it's not even a new capability that's being added, but can we truly understand our operational environment and get there? All right, last slide. So one of the major questions I always get asked is, Nyla? Where'd you get Nyla from? That's Nyla. That's my beautiful mother. She was the one who didn't have a choice on what she got to do for a living. She was told to be a nurse or a teacher. And when I was in second grade, she took me to my first programming class at Broughton Elementary. And she's responsible for the values that we are implementing and the culture that we're creating at the company, Nyla. She's the inspiration for that. And the goal is really to do better for the mission. So we're here on this earth to really create something better, that's much better for the mission, and to do better for our employees. So when our employees are part of the Nyla culture, can we create something that is elevating them, that is better, and that they feel proud that they're part of this? And so that's Nyla. Do I ask for questions, or is that it? Just a bow? All right. Well, thank you.